Most people who are in the market for new graphics cards have two primary questions in mind. Which card will give me the most bang for my buck? And is this card going to be future-proof? Well, stick around, as in today's video we're going to be going over whether the RTX 2060 is worth buying in 2022 and what the buyer can expect in the GPU market, along with better options if there is any at reasonable prices. The RTX 2060 6GB versus the RTX 2060 12GB. The original RTX 2060 graphics card was released back in 2019 and came with 6GB of memory as a mid-range performance-focused graphics card by NVIDIA, and originally launched as part of the RTX 2000 series. The RTX 2060 is built on the 12nm manufacturing process and is based on the TU106 GPU in its TU106-200A KA-A1 variant. At its core, the card holds the GPU itself, a large chip with a die area of 442mm squared, and has 10,800 million total transistors. This transistor counts as a big jump over the ongoing 1000 series graphics card at the time, more specifically the GeForce GTX 1060, which was based on the Pascal architecture. These numbers help rocket the RTX 2060 way past the RTX 1060 in terms of performance, which is to be expected in a generational improvement. The RTX 2060 is, however, a fairly tame card in terms of power usage. Most of its variants, including the Founders Edition cards, are dual-slot cards that ensure a wide range of compatibility with various PC cases and models. The card itself does draw a maximum wattage of 160 under load, which is provided through the 1X-pin power connectors in the Founders Edition cards. Being a reasonably modest contender in terms of power draw and subsequently thermals, one doesn't really need the biggest and most expensive variants on the market to be able to get the best out of the GPU. Even fairly mediocre heat sinks with two fans should be able to get the job done comfortably, so this is one area where the potential buyers should consider saving some money. The company then announced the renewed NVIDIA RTX 2060 GPU with double the memory of the original model and when it was released. But the question still remained, was the upgrade really worth it? And of course, more importantly, does the original RTX 2060 stand on its own in this tumultuous GPU market? The primary and perhaps really the only difference between the 6 and 12GB is the addition of just more VRAM. As the name suggests, the new RTX 2060 12GB variant comes with 12GB of GDDR6 VRAM as opposed to the original 6GB. Unlike the original 6GB card, the 12GB version does offer 2,176 CUDA cores, which is the same about as the 2060 Super, and would make it a 2060 Super, but really just with more VRAM. But even with all of that, there is something that does need to be considered because unlike the 2060 Super, which does use a 256-bit wide memory bus, the 12GB, on the other hand, uses that same 192-bit bus of the original 2060, yet reducing the original memory width from 448GB to just 336 gigs, a big 25% reduction. This means that the 12GB 2060 should perform between the 6GB 2060 and the 2060 Super, and depending upon the game and quality settings that you might have, could be used to close the gap on pricing and performance of both models. You can also see some minor differences when it does come to things like the RTX 2060 12 boost clock, memory speed, graphics power, and more. Although these are minor differences, so just keep that in mind. Looking at the specs table alone, it is safe to say that the new RTX 2060 12GB is way more comparable, and possibly better, than its counterpart with the 2060 Super. This comparison does make more sense than any other graphics card component, like the RTX 2060 12GB versus the RTX 2060, or even the RTX 2060 versus the 2070. Now, of course, had the graphics card managed to come in at a much lower price point and with a stronger supply, then sure, we'd be super happy and excited about its release, but that was never the case. To be completely honest and transparent, this one was really only intended for miners. And frankly, gamers don't even need 12GB of a 2060. Just give the old model a half-decent price and boom, happy days. Generally speaking though, the 12GB 2060 is irrelevant for gamers. Nevertheless, it is interesting to compare a similar spec 2060 with 6 gigs and 12 gigs of VRAM. Plus, it's just interesting as a discussion, which heated back up early in 2019. At the time, much of the general criticism for the 2060 was due to the lack of VRAM, but overall it was a solid product and certainly one of the better offerings in the Turing series. Now, fast forward 3 years since its release, and it's kind of fair to say that the 6GB 2060 is still pretty good for 1440p gaming. Also, if you did make it this far, you clearly have enjoyed the video, so if you can, please give us a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ding that notification bell for more videos just like this. The alternatives to the RTX 2060. With the current state of the GPU market and availability issues surrounding these prices of hardware, it's kind of difficult to provide an accurate comparison. But at the end of the day, it all basically boils down to how much the GPU is selling for and whether you're able to grab one before it runs out of stock. Furthermore, these devices are often found selling for way more than twice the MSRP. Still, we do have a few suggestions that you might want to consider if you are in search of an alternative to the RTX 2060. The XFX Radeon RX 570 RS XXX Edition. If you need a graphics card that will guarantee you a decent gaming experience, then the FXX Radeon RX 570 RS XXX Edition would be a great choice. It features an AMD RX 570 chipset and an 8GB GDDR5 memory with 2048 stream processors. The graphics card does promise an optimized performance level, all thanks to the XFX True Clock technology. Not to mention that you'll get to achieve more incredible speeds since the XFX OC Plus capable is enabled. The RX 570 RS XXX Edition also runs quietly and coolly thanks to the enhanced VRM and memory cooling technology. The graphics card has a PCIe interface and a PCI Express X8 hardware interface. Its memory bus width is about 256 bits, and its memory clock speed reaches around 7,000 MHz. The graphics card isn't only great for gaming, but you can also trust it for cryptocurrency mining. And before purchasing, you do need to know that it requires at least 500 watts for a power supply. This helps to make it a great alternative to the RTX 2060 if it's not available for you or maybe you want to explore other options. The ZOTAC Gaming GeForce RTX 3050. The ZOTAC GeForce RTX 3050 twin-edge graphics card is one of the best NVIDIA graphics card that you can currently get for about $600. It features NVIDIA's Ampere architecture with 3rd Gen Tensor cores and 2nd Gen ray tracing cores, plus you'll be getting 126-bit memory bus and an 8GB GDDR6 memory. It comes with a 14 gigabit per second memory clock and an enhanced boost clock of 1807 MHz. The RTX 3050 has 2 powerful fans featuring Ice Storm 2.0 advanced cooling, and another available feature includes the active fan control along with freeze fan stop. Now, if you thought that was cool, then get this. The graphics card is 4 display ready and 8K ready. Yep, you heard that right. It comes with 3 display ports and 1 HDMI 2.1 port with HDCP 2.3 support. The GeForce RTX 3050's graphics card and hardware interface are PCI Express X16, which makes it great to consider if you want an RTX alternative. The RX 5600 XT Sapphire Pulse. AMD's RX 5600 XT 6GB is a great performer at 1080p with ultra settings and is plenty capable at 1440p using medium settings. Among its different models, this overclocked Sapphire Pulse competes with the RTX 2060 while costing less and using a lot less power. The Pulse is also a dual fan card that offers the same performance as the XFX Thick 2 Pro model. The core temperatures are a bit lower, and the card does provide better VRAM cooling, all the while the fans are just as quiet as those on the Thick 2 Pro. With that being said, the more noticeable difference between the two models is really the design. Sapphire had some really good shroud designs in the past, and in contrast to XFX, we really like their older RTX 400 and 500 series designs, more so than what they've been going for right now with the RX 5000 lineup. The Pulse series cards then shifted to a much more aggressive exterior design, and the shroud is detailed with features of a total of 3 colors: black, white, and red. Granted, Sapphire's card does have better VRAM cooling than the XFX Thick 2 Pro, but just go with whatever one's cheaper with the RX 5600 XT if you really don't care about the exterior design. So, what did you think of our video? Do you think the RTX 2060 or maybe any of its models are a good grab right now? Or are you waiting to get a different model? Maybe the 2070, the 2080, or maybe one of the 3000 series? Or maybe there's even another card that we might have missed that you think should be on our list. Let us know in the comment section down below what you think. And again, if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more content just like this, and don't forget to ding that notification bell so you don't miss out on any more content updates from us. Until next time, folks, stay safe and stay informed.